We're seeing Bermuda and Uprising Academy right now. And look at this, Uprising Academy on Reinhardt. Another Triumph Gaming person. Decod is going to be coming in for Hypnot.
Exactly. Hypnot recently left Uprising Academy, so that's some pretty big Ryan shoes to fill. But if you're going to pick any tank to do so, Decod of European fame. And but it's Swimmer claiming the first 2 bloods. And what was that about not shouting out supports and they're doing really well? Hey, you know, there's always an exception.
Hey, someone is swimming in the deep end for sure. Uprising Academy. Oh my goodness, Swimmer. 2 boops to start things off. 2 clean points not even open yet.
Yeah, exactly. Hold your horses. But I really like the fact that Uprising Academy was able to pick up Decod. I think he's going to add a lot to this team. After that Mayhem Academy game, you can see how much main tanks add to the fight in today's GOAT meta.
So Uprising Academy, they have someone from Australia as well, and that's Punk. Trill doesn't get all the love there, so Uprising Academy, Punk's been playing very, very, well. Arguably one of the more consistent members of Uprising Academy so far, but what we're seeing in Uprising Academy is just like the definition of a streaky team. They are so hot, but at times they'll be so cold. They just got to find more consistency in their play, and they'll find more success.
Yeah, exactly. They have at least, conquered the very first step of winning Lijiang. They got that first point control, so it's up to Bermuda to try and make an engagement here. It's been a little bit sloppy so far, losing Umte on those engages.
So Umte and Guru and Pizza Demon are going to be falling to the ground. Decod's Shatter, what a great first Shatter for a Decod, and Bermuda going to be trying again. Bermuda played really well last week, if you remember, and so this isn't a team that you got to just give away, but they're also replacing some members themselves.
Yeah, Bermuda right now, they're coming into their ultimates though, so this is when things start to get a little bit more interesting. Bermuda, they just have to have the correct setup. If you have that, pre-game environment, then Bermuda are able to execute most of those times. Pizza Demon is ready with that trance. He just can't get caught by, a wayward Shatter or a bomb from Uprising Academy before he can counter Ice's grab.
Cloud's going to be using the rally. There's only 1 fight remaining for Uprising Academy, who are going to use that sound barrier right before the Earth Shatter comes through, so there's not going to be any confirmed kills for Bermuda. Invested the Transcendence before Ice used that Graviton Surge. At least there wasn't any kills from it. That's on Uprising Academy. Bermuda making things happen here. Umte getting 3 kills. And a Shatter is going to be at the ready as well. Uprising Academy going to be losing that out. They had an opportunity with a Graviton Surge that did not have a Transcendence to follow it up, but not many people in that unwilling hug for Uprising Academy.
No, and Decod tried to go for the counter Shatter as well. We've seen it work many a time. This time, though, Bermuda will not fall. So that will be the point flip, but 99% are ready for Uprising Academy. They only need to take 1 more clean fight in order to take our first round of Gardens. Bermuda want to take this fight in White Room, though. Umte is ready with the Shatter. Just needs that bit of shield bash setup from Ultimate Web.
A lot of pull sides already for Uprising Academy. A lot of them taken very, very low. Umte smartly holding on to the Shatter. Actually going to be able to combo it now with other ultimates from Bermuda. Guru and Shu getting close to their ultimates respectively. Uprising Academy didn't have a ton going into that. They're actually not going to have an amazing amount coming out of it either, but they're gonna compete on this next fight. So now at 42%, are we looking at a junk rush, or are they going to do a proper engage?
Yeah, that's the question here. Whatever it is, Uprising Academy are going to be hoping to draw the trans out from Pizza Demon. That means that regardless of what tank ultimate they throw in there, it probably won't be nullified, but oh, there we go, the drive-by Lucio distraction.
Is anyone going to drop into the water? Ice looks like he's going to be going down because of that Graviton Surge. So Uprising Academy did not get the Transcendence from Bermuda, actually using a Transcendence of their own, and Bermuda holding on strong.
I really like this kind of play. I mean, this is kind of the attitude that I really would have hoped Gladiators Legion to display a little bit more in our last series. Hey, maybe if we go 6v6, we might not win things out, but what about this cheeky grab? I saw it on Reddit one time, yo. It's totally going to work, and they went for it, and they managed to find the kill onto Ice. So that's 86% for Bermuda now. They're in that one and done fight territory.
Well, this map isn't one and done territory, as both teams going to be using their ultimates. Earth Earthshatter now coming from Umte. Actually not going to find anybody. Ice going to be using the Graviton Surge before dying. Threw it out for a, a miracle Graviton Surge, but Bermuda going to be finding themselves a round win against Uprising Academy, coming back from a 99-0 deficit. Bermuda go up 1-0 here at Lijiang.
Gotta just clean up the last couple of stragglers, but that is a golden day for Bermuda and Bermuda fans everywhere. Uprising Academy, well, there's, at that 1-4 territory, they're still, been doing quite a bit better than Bermuda, just historically speaking. But this team coming into each of these fights, we saw it last week, never say die. Who's to say that we couldn't win this fight out? And one of those cheeky plays from Guru, a very well-placed grab, did just the trick. OG flies over their heads, and you're like, is this Lufio going for a boop? He's in the stratosphere. There's no way. Surprise! Turn around, and you're all grabbed.
He was where water was during that rocket barrage
Yeah, exactly.
a little earlier today. It's just really, really high up. Bermuda now, the momentum's on their side. They got that round win. Uprising Academy need to win the next two in order to go 1-0 against the team they should be winning against. So Uprising Academy need to, they need to be talking on the comms right now, but don't let anything bother you. Come into this with a fresh perspective. It is a new round. Bermuda and Uprising Academy are going to meet each other here on the objective now. And Uprising Academy, it's a race to the ultimates. Looking at the Reinhardts is the best way to see where that ultimate race is going to be. Right now, Uprising Academy have a slight advantage, actually, only at the only in that Reinhardt ultimate so far. They're kind of just jostling for position right now. Shu getting very, very low. Going to have to duck behind the pillar in order to stay safe. Does get some healing, but that means that healing's going to be unavailable for Umte, and he's going to be going down. When you invest that armor pack into somebody else that's not your Reinhardt, you're most likely not going to find that value, and it just goes to prove how important that single point-and-click heal is.
Exactly. It's really the only burst healing you have in a GOAT's composition. Tickle heals from the Lucio and, healing over time from a Zen Harmony Lord, but if you need healing and you need it now, Brigitte is the only source. Uprising now can just camp Bermuda right here in the choke. It is a little bit more risky, but winner right there. He has the boop cocked and ready, looking for, maybe that, boop into a shatter, boop into a grab. There we go.
Oh,
Hey!
That's what it was. Really good idea. Too bad that didn't finish off exactly as planned, but I see what they were going for. Again, these are the types of plays that we really want to be seeing coming out of these teams. That's what it looks like to try, I think, to make sure to get that victory. You've got to be trying these things. Going with the status quo all the time might win you games 80% of the time, but what about that other 20%? Uprising Academy owned the point that whole time. I loved what they did there, just it didn't work as Bermuda didn't come into that choke the same way, the way the Uprising Academy wanted them to.
Yeah, they did it all in. OG was still alive and safe to lay the sound barrier in. So again, really good plan from Uprising Academy. Execution didn't happen to fall their way. However, they still have, a really good chance to come back in here and recap this. Of course, the Bermuda and Shu both will have something to say about that. Umte as well.
Hello,
Oh!
here is an Earthshatter from DCOD. Hello and goodbye coming from Uprising Academy. So Bermuda owned the point just for a little while, 22 seconds. And Uprising Academy will be taking this right back.
Really liking the synergy between Klaus and DCOD. Again, DCOD new to this team. Bermuda themselves have parted ways with WaveFast, so both of the sides, working through some of those roster changes. But right now, Uprising Academy coming through much more cleanly. Klaus struggled on the Brigitte role. He's an excellent DPS player from South America, but the Brigitte role did take some time for him to get used to, and right now he has been so good at setting up all these plays.
Uprising Academy going to be using that rally, and it's a good time right now because Bermuda has to come in and take that fight because of what's available to them in terms of percentage. Earthshatter going to be going through Punk, getting 2 kills. This is all but locked up for Uprising Academy.
Yeah, Umte shut down in the middle of his shatter as well, so Bermuda running out of time, running out of options, even if they get that re-engagement, but it's not looking likely.
Well, and you even see it there, getting a confirmation kill Uprising Academy, then turning around and 3 members of Bermuda were behind. That just is a good story in terms of why they work together. When you get isolated in this comp, you are going to die. And so it is all up to Bermuda to try to maintain that composure. Even though they did just take that double self-destruct, deaths on their side, they can still, I think, be playing a little bit more together, just like they did in the first round.
Yeah, Bermuda kind of, maybe not expecting Uprising Academy to hit him as hard on control center after they took a pretty easy walk in the garden. So Bermuda again now just have to tighten up the ship once more as we head into Night Market, the decider round for the very first map between these two teams. Uprising Academy at 1-4, Bermuda at 0-5. So this could be their first series win. That's what they're going to be working for.
Well, and I think the way that this has gone so far, Uprising Academy might have won that last round, but Bermuda, came back with some grit on that first one. So I think this one could go either way. Uprising Academy trying to make sure that they don't take this map. If they don't lose this map from Bermuda, again, this is an Academy team against Bermuda, one of the Path to Pro teams, and Uprising Academy should take this in the end. But these Path to Pro teams are known to punch upward. They've tended to take games away from these Academy teams. Second Wind comes to mind, first generation from last season, right? So Bermuda going to be pushed off the objective, the ice going to be pushed off of the map.
Oh, no.
And the rest of Uprising Academy will follow Bermuda to take this first take.
Yeah, you can see Uprising Academy meeting Bermuda in that open space in front of the point of Bermuda, just saying, nah, man, this is our space. All of the tanks, those health bars yo-yoing between half and a third health. When you have 3 tanks that all desperately need your healing, that's a lot of pressure on the support players. Maybe Swimmer didn't have speed amp available to get them out of there because he needed it for heals.
Swimmer trying to get that move into the Reinhardt ended up helping him move closer to the rest of Uprising Academy. Again, I like the Moxie. We call that the old college try, or if you like to say, the old college dingle, right? And so Bermuda, oh man, for everyone who remembers that from last week, Bermuda now coming in with 3 ultimates in control of the point. Uprising Academy have been unable to get anything going here on the third round.
They've been in control of the tempo too, Goop, and that's the scary thing. Uprising Academy, they now have the tools, but Bermuda have been the one forcing these engagements. So Uprising Academy going to try and come here aggressively. They have the rally. Decod's already popped the shatter, didn't find nothing more than dirt.
And so the Graviton Surge is going to be coming through from Guru on Bermuda. Swimmer going to be holding on to the sound barrier because Shu came in with a quad kill. Bermuda going to be owning this fight. Was looking interesting for Uprising Academy, but Shu decided to tie their laces.
Nah, man. Yeah, exactly. Shu, you should know he wears Velcros for a reason. I actually have no idea. But Uprising Academy, I like the fact that they tried to go in there aggressively. They had the armor from Klaus. They got the speed boost from Swimmer. It just didn't quite go through. Bermuda reacted appropriately, more than you could have really hoped for. Grav into bomb combo. How often do you see 4K? But now Uprising Academy backs against the wall. 85% for Bermuda means Uprising Academy, this will be their last shot.
2 support ults for Bermuda, so they're well prepared for whatever Uprising Academy brings at them. And Swimmer's going to go ahead and use the sound barrier to get them onto the point. There's a counter on the other side. Earthshatter going to be stopping any value from the sound barrier. Guru going to get that kill along with the pin from Umte, definitely helping out. And Bermuda going to be coming out on top. And last week, Bermuda punched upward for about 2 games against Square One. But slowly but surely, this team lost a lot of that momentum. And by the time we got onto our 4th map, which was Junkertown, the momentum was gone.
That unfortunately kind of petered out, wind gone from the sails.
I bring this back at sales. I bring this back because Bermuda, this is the exact same thing I think they did against Square One. I believe they took control from them last week, and now they just have to change history a little bit for themselves. Kings Row last week was also very, very competitive from Bermuda, but they did allow Square One to come back in, and that was on them last week. So let's see if they're able to kind of clean up those mistakes. They were able to do it on control, but now let's look if they're going to be consistent about it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Consistency really is the name of the game for any kind of, team that plays GOATs, right? You win one fight, but one fight is almost never going to just seal the deal for you, right? You have to be looking forward to like the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, umpteenth fight. So, Bermuda right now looking very strong, certainly, but Uprising Academy a little bit discombobulated. It could be, of course, playing with a new main tank. You're going to run into issues, maybe tempo, right? Resource allocation, right? Reinhardt's, we saw you had an excellent call. We saw what effects it has when you throw that armor pack onto somebody other than your Reinhardt, use the bubble on somebody other than your Rein. You know, he's not going to be that playmaker that guarantees you the fight all the time, but if he's dead, you're probably going to lose. So it's, you know, a very difficult thing to try and balance.
Well, I just think that there were some hero plays coming out from Uprising Academy that didn't quite need it to happen. And so while I like the moxie of, or I've been using that word a lot, while I like the idea of that boop, right? And then Slimmer trying it again on Night Market. I like the effort, but seeing that so many times, right? Well, I know the boop displacement's a big part of separating goats, and you know, there's a lot of that happening, and it's good. What I am seeing is DCOD, you know, trying to outride the other Ryan, not really remembering the team is behind him. Same thing with the supports here for Uprising Academy, right? Who are they gonna support when everyone is kind of playing like an individual? And so Uprising Academy looking a little bit, you know, like you said, discombobulated, playing like individuals right now. They need to come back and play as a team because they just lost that map against Bermuda, who's up 1-0 now. They have to take Kings Row at this point, in my opinion.
I agree. Kings Row is kind of like, hey, you come out of control. It's very scattered. It certainly favors the underdog. And whoa, that is really close.
What's
I
the
think it's
pupils on her?
I think, yeah, I actually think it's the lack of eyebrows.
Oh, is it?
Right? Because then you can't judge
it
the
also
expression.
looks like a plant or something. There's like a Tinkerbell like hair, right, on top of her. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what people are thinking about when they call it pixie cut. But regardless, Uprising Academy, we know this is the makings of a great team. Bermuda, of course, punching upward once more. They need to keep this up. Control favors the underdog. Kings Row, a hybrid map with that first point that you have to attack, is where we start to see, you know, the cracks in the armor, if there are any, in terms of teamwork for either of these sides. And Iced already taken so low right before they engage. Shoot in the backline, peppering them in. Those D.Va, you know, tickle cannons don't do a ton of burst damage, but over time it will matter.
And it wasn't just Iced, it was a lot of Uprising Academy. When they walk in with half health, you're most likely going to be losing that fight in Bermuda. You can even tell, we're like, wait a second. We got this, right? Because usually you see them duck behind, you know, let them get a tick or two, and then come back with reckless abandon. But Bermuda was like, no, we got this. And so Uprising Academy are going to have to try one more time, and Swimmer is falling very far behind OG in that sound barrier charge. And usually when it comes to these point A takes, that sound barrier is a really great way to get onto the point or counter an ultimate coming from the opposing team. We're looking for that rally to really escort them on to the point. But when you're getting picked off like that, the point is going to be further and further away as time goes on.
has been getting so much value from those fire strikes. Great nades from Guru as well. Usually you would see those eaten up by a D.Va, blocked by a Ryan shield, but for whatever reason, that doesn't seem to really be happening for Uprising Academy as of right now. Bermuda, you can check all of the ultimate charge. You're almost up to that full 6-pack, so even when Uprising Academy set foot on the point, you're going to have to burn through potentially 6 full ultimates before things even up.
Oh, Graviton Surge gets eaten by Punt, so Uprising Academy are going to have that nice tempo. When you get that eaten grab, the rest of your team just plays a little bit more confidently, but it isn't going to matter as Bermuda, even though they're going to fall victim to an Earth Shatter. might even go down, but Uprising Academy, again, unable to break through.
Yeah, DCOD trying to be a bit of a hero right there. Shatters when you've already lost your Zarya. She's going to be one of your main sources of damage, you know, even in GOATs. You have your Ryan, you have your Zarya, and with your Zarya already out of the fight, Shattering is, you know, oftentimes not a great value play. Bermuda now still have 4 ultimates left. Uprising Academy coming into their own 4. Punk actually manages to get back into mech, so that's, you know, a little bit of a reprieve for Uprising Academy, but once again, they are down now to minute 40 seconds.
And so they are going to be using the rally to come through, but 3 of them are going to be knocked on the ground. No kills onto Uprising Academy this time around, so Bermuda missing that opportunity, but smartly waiting until after to use the grab, but Shu going to get a grab of his own, so that's 1-1 on each side, but Punk going to get that self-destruct double kill. They are going to be able to grab this point A, but 3 minutes pretty much off the clock for them. Let's see what Streets Phase brings for Uprising Academy.
Yeah, Streets Phase is where Uprising Academy will be put to the test. Most teams are able to capture point A. Great lob bomb by Punk right there. His positioning has been really good so far, honestly. Always on the high ground, looking for those opportunities for boops, micro missile kills, that kind of thing. Uprising Academy now finally able to make some kind of inroads, but they're heading into into Streets phase with no support ultimates. So that means that with all of that in mind, oh, a big shatter from Decod, okay.
Hey, they don't need to tell Bermuda that they don't have any support ultimates, so taking that momentum like that, right, I think is a really good play, even though they're not going to be able to get anything from it. If that, say, that had landed, they were able to get a pick, that would be the reason why. And, you know, feigning support ultimates is something that we've seen before, where other teams give so much respect because they expect the trans to come out when it's not actually there. Uprising Academy, I think, trying to do that, but it's going to be a while before they respawn.
And Bermuda trying to pull a Mayhem Academy, and Spawn Camp Uprising right here, force them to use some ultimates. What a shatter.
Yeah, the shield was in the air. That's why jumping as Reinhardt can be very, very bad for your team. There was a little bit displacement there as well, but the Earth Shatter is enough for Bermuda. Uprising Academy are going to have to try to get out of spawn once more. I think at this point, Bermuda can actually see this spawn camp. They don't have a ton to work with. They're going to go ahead and use Graviton Surge, it looks like.
Potentially, they're going to be hoping to draw Dino's Trance out, but no, Uprising Academy squirts out a side movement.
And so the Graviton Surge is going to be coming out. You don't really see fights out here after the point gets taken, and so the charge coming from Unte is going to break things up from Uprising Academy. And now Black Graviton Surge for Uprising Academy comes in a second, finds more value, keeps Steven getting a nice consolation prize for Bermuda, but that's going to be the only good thing they find. I think they should have seeded that space, try to hold right where the payload's entering now underneath the arch.
I would say so as well. You don't really have an answer to a grab or a shatter that Uprising might throw your way. You're kind of testing the hands of fate at that point. We could probably, they could probably write textbooks though as to how to spawn exactly. What we do know is Bermuda ended up, not too badly bruised. They have the trance at the ready. OG very close to that sound barrier as well. And Uprising Academy want to try and maintain this pace. If they lose another fight here, they're absolutely going to be below 60 seconds.
Oh, you saw that go, and there's a point with self-destructs where you're like, that's gonna hit, and that was one of them. Uprising Academy have that 6v5, but Chu has isolated the D.Va on the top right. They're actually just gonna have an anime battle up there. Sound Barrier though gonna make Punk win that D.Va battle. Klaus though gonna get the kill onto the Reinhardt, and so while the D.Vas were occupying each other, that means Chu was not with the rest of the team. You don't know what damage mitigation might have happened if he were. But now Uprising Academy are going to be taking this second point. They have made up a little bit of time that they lost from that first point, but they're not going to have a ton trying to grab and complete the map.
No, and they were, again, unable to focus down OG, who is sticking to that payload like a burr that entire fight. You saw the shatter come in from Umte. Nobody darts into the back to try and throw in any damage except OG on that little frog. But because of that, but shatter might not matter here if they could just win this.
You're a poet and didn't even know it. Ham Tornado. Uprising Academy are going to find themselves at a numbers disadvantage. Bermuda going to be getting those kills to maintain that defense for the first time since point A. Nice cherry on top for Bermuda with that pin kill. Uprising Academy going to have to come in and try again with a minute and a half left. They're running out of chances.
They're running out of time, although they have a pretty well-stocked ultimate pantry. Bomb combo available for Uprising Academy. That crucial trance on tap for Dino as well. In fact, Uprising Academy have 4 ultimates, 2 Bermudas, 2, nearly 3.
Well, it's not. They should win this fight. It's the next one that I'm really, really interested in because Uprising Academy has such a massive ultimate advantage right now. He's even going to go ahead and counter that ult. Let's see if this lands. It does not. And now Uprising Academy going to be investing their own Transcendence. So this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. If Bermuda were able to hold on to some of those ults, lose this fight, they would have had a really good defensive opportunity on the next one close to the 3rd point.
Yeah, unfortunately, though, Decod puts an end to all of those dreams, hopes, and ambitions, smashing supports into pieces. Bermuda, they were able to weather that initial storm, but that leaves them empty-handed for the final showdown right at the spawn. Uprising Academy themselves expended almost everything they have, although they will have Rally and Sound Barrier. And while in, my ranked games, Brigida Ultimate doesn't really seem to matter, that is a huge boon for these professional teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's damage mitigation in a situation where it's unavoidable to go into the team with Rally like right now. You gotta find value out of it. So Uprising Academy gonna go ahead and use that rally. That's gonna tell Bermuda that they're gonna be trying to finish this map. There's only 12 seconds left. Sound Barrier gonna be layered on top of that. So Uprising Academy really want to finish it right here, right now. They've got the ultimate. Earth Shatter and Graviton Surge going down at the same time. That's a little bit suspect, but it might end up working for them in the end. 6v5 now for Uprising Academy. This could have maybe been an easier fight for them. Bermuda, though, making things interesting. Who dying with Graviton Surge, though, is a death knell for Bermuda. Now it's all about the stall. Can Shu stall with the Sound Barrier? OG and Shu are going to be able to get some of Bermuda back. Overtime spawns are a little bit longer, so it might take a little while for them to actually get there. They really need a miracle now to stop this from getting to that third point. Uprising Academy is looking poised to do just that, though.
Yeah, Shatter right here to try and finish things out. Anybody who hasn't been caught! Oh, but Ultima Web gets the boop kill onto DCOD, but it doesn't quite matter.
So let's talk about that last fight, right? And so, because I'm still thinking about it, I would rather, as a coach, right, if I was coaching, I'd rather lose that fight, go into that last point with a minute. Right, and an ultimate advantage, right, and potentially be able to choose which ultimates I use, right? So it's like this goes back to something we've been saying for a very long time, and a lot of people say it's not about winning every fight, right? It's about winning the right one, and that wasn't the right fight to win in that situation. We actually saw Mayhem Academy on this map give up progress on Streets phase to get a better defensible position, and even though they gave up progress, they ended up taking that defense because it was just better for them. Right? You have to have that type of thought process if you want to find yourself success here in Contenders.
Absolutely, Boop. It's about what is your goal? Winning this fight or winning this series? Right?
Yes.
And sometimes it can come down to a single fight, maybe even a single ultimate, a single boop. Some really good boops from OG and, you know, the rest of the members of Bermuda towards the end. But alas, you know, with that advantage, because here's the thing. In that last fight, Uprising Academy and Bermuda, everybody smashes Q, uses everything that they possibly have. However, since Uprising Academy won that fight, they did more damage and will have more ultimate when they come out of it. Bermuda can't say the same thing for them, so you end up with a defense that's much weaker than if you had, you know, tried and feigned a defense. Maybe we'll throw out a rally, right? We're defending here, Uprising. You should definitely toss everything that you have at us. And then die very quickly, then come into that third fight with at least a better chance of holding against a team who's already won a fight against you. So.
And so looking at these team comps, it's more of the same. Remember, this is 1.32, so this is not the same patch that Overwatch League is currently on. We're still on the GOATS patch, but we will be switching for playoffs. Bermuda, far away from playoffs, but not very far away from potentially being spoiler for Uprising Academy and actually evening up their records. So Bermuda are able to grab this win. Uprising Academy and Bermuda, the team win-loss record, but Uprising Academy going to find themselves at an advantage here on this first defense. Look at the ult charge, you're going to see why DCOD able to make some contact with that little hammer of his.
You know, it's not the size of the hammer, it's how you use it. 72% already, and so that's very impressive stuff for Uprising Academy, because when in these mirror comp situations, right, whichever team gets that first ultimate has such a big advantage. You might not use it, but you always have the option. As we see the re-engage here. Oh, DCOD kind of on the other side of Umte, but
yeah, the uh-oh came out because you saw that separation happening in that and the white bodies were just, they were split apart. And even when you see them in a line, that's really, really bad. You really just want to see them, we don't, you know, it's Death Ball, it's Ghost, right? You want to see them as close together as possible. And we did not see that from Bermuda. That's a big reason why they lost that fight. Going into this next one, another big reason why they might lose the fight is about 5 to 6 ultimates on Uprising Academy. So it is not good numbers for Bermuda. And so let's see if they're able to potentially wait it out, see how patient they're going to be and get to their ultimates, because if they're able to put some damage in, they're going to get 6 ultimates themselves, but DCOD is going to go ahead and walk forward knowing that they are ahead on ultimate charge, use an Earth Shatter, and that's all Uprising Academy needs. This is what we need to see from Uprising Academy. This is the high caliber Overwatch that needs to be more consistent. Remember, we say they're so streaky right now, they're on the good side of it, but how long until we see the other side?
It seems as simple as pressing Q. Just walk forward, press Q, forehead, but being able to count those ultimates, keep track of everything that's happening on the screen, and be willing and confident enough to take that risk, that's the mark of an experienced team. Grab now in here, going to be countered by Trance.
Yep, there, so don't get anything. Uprising Academy going to be using their Transcendence last, so they're going to find a little bit more value from that. Earthshatter going to be coming from to get absolutely nothing, and now it's going to be up Shu and OG and Decod and a Swimmer respectively. Decod has a Shatter, going to go ahead and use it. Punk getting that kill onto the Reinhardt is going to help things out for Uprising Academy. Bermuda did invest the sound barrier, as did Swimmer from Uprising Academy, and now she's going to be throwing that Destruct into the backline. This has been a back and forth fight, but right now it's in Uprising Academy's corner. They have Bermuda on the ropes. They actually have them back at spawn. That is a reset for them.
Yeah, it would have been a really good play for Bermuda to press forward once Uprising lost their Rein, but they had lost their own Reinhardt, so things were evened up once again. Rally pushing Uprising Academy forward here. They want to try and keep this space, if nothing else, crack the shield of Uptake.
No Transcendence just yet from Dino. Are they going to be able to get it in time? Dino going to be not in time for Decod. That's not a late trans, unable to get that percentage in time. I'm sure he was spamming Q as Bermuda finally going to find themselves a numbers advantage, but Dino going to be evening it up. Bermuda not with their Zarya. That means the protection and the cleanse isn't there. Uprising Academy have their Zarya, so I'm going to like their chances on this defense so far. There is 31 seconds. They have been able to take a tick, possibly two, but Uprising Academy will re-engage here in just a second. Ice going to get a deep mech. This is really bad news for Bermuda with 21 seconds left. There is enough time for Shu to come back, though.
Yeah, Shu can come back here. Will have Shatter, but the question is, will they have the follow-through damage? Pizza Demon, wasn't able to pass into the Iris, so now they have no backup plan. Iced, if he is able to get to this grab, will be the deciding factor for Uprising Academy as the Reinhardts face off once again.
OG had a good boop in the backline of Uprising Academy, but that's the only good thing that we're seeing from this fight on Bermuda. Uprising Academy starting things off with 3 kills respectively. This is their fight to lose. This is looking like a point A hold unless Bermuda finds something out of nothing. Uprising Academy, though, will be locking this up. We're going to be entering halftime 1-1. Again, the ship has been rioted. Bermuda needs to find a way to maintain that type of momentum, right? Going into the next map and, you know, competing against Square One. They actually held up a little bit more of a fight than not Square One, they're in a different group, but it was Uprising Academy this time around, and now it's tied 1-1 going into the half. Bermuda played very, very well. Do you think they're going to be able to get a little bit more of that magic after the half?
It's actually going to be a pretty tough thing. It was a question, for me at least, whether or not Decod was going to be, contributing to Uprising Academy, who, again, parted ways with Hypnot, who is a standout, very aggressive Rein. And I would say so. He's definitely not been a liability the times that he has died. Feels like it wasn't, up to it wasn't his self-determination that he was in those spots, and because of that aggression, that confidence, you saw the way that Uprising Academy was able to hold Bermuda back. A lot of, you could always say, well, what could Bermuda do potentially better? That's always up in the air, right? Just play better forehead. But to Uprising Academy's credit, they were picking up a lot of the things that we pointed out that Gladiators Legion were maybe letting go by the wayside. The focus fire onto the various members of Bermuda, tearing them down when they were at their weakest and most isolated. Shu getting demeched. That very last fight, certainly comes to mind. It was very scrappy, like a 3v4. But all 4 of those, Uprising Academy members, you saw those little green bodies, and they all went over there and just tore that mech apart, right? Hey, maybe it's not like the best play in the universe, but we know we can confirm that kill 1v4, right? So why not go for it?
And so we're tied at the half, 1-1. Bermuda definitely punching upward just a little bit. Uprising Academy trying to quell the underdog here. They want to maintain their position, not in relegation. There's going to be 6 minutes before the completion of this match. We'll see you on the other side.